Coach, last minute prep for anything, you know, you kind of said it was a little bit of like a COVID camp, and then back and just take us into the first game.
Yeah, I thought it was 3 really good days of practice. Nice to have Juice back today. It completes that line a little bit. And it felt like we were saying, like going into our first preseason game at the beginning of the year, just the energy. We were really, I don't know if you guys thought the same thing. We were really moving and really good. So I'm sure other teams feel the same way, but we're fresh and we're excited to get started.
Was the day off yesterday pre-planned, or was that we went so hard the first 2 days, thought that was maybe the best course for the guys?
We had it scheduled out that we would likely just do an off-ice workout that day, depending. We had 11 forwards, 6D, you know what I mean? So, and then we pushed them really hard on that, the second day of it, whatever that was, probably Wednesday, right? So then, yeah, we just talked about, I can tell you, for like Kopi, for example, probably did twice as much skating as he would typically do in a regular practice, him and Louis, because we only had 5 great forwards. So it felt like that basically was 2 practices in one, so that's freshen up.
Jim, what do you think the Four Nations did for someone like Adrien, just in terms of opening more eyeballs to him in his game, maybe to those who don't see him regularly?
Yeah, well, I think everybody, you know, in hockey got a chance to see him and what he can do, and no surprise to any of us. But I thought the most important thing, I think, for him going forward is the Swedish Federation, the management there, the coaches there, to see as the tournament wore on, especially how important he became to that team. So I think next time he goes around, it's likely that he starts higher in the lineup and with a more important role. He's carved that out for himself, and I thought he was one of the players in the tournament that really, it's hard to stand out in a tournament like that because everybody's so good. I thought that was a player, he was one of the players that elevated his status, not only with the Swedish team, but probably around the league.
Obviously, you had Drew playing in the game last night. Are you guys expecting him to play tomorrow, or what's the plan?
Yeah, he's had plenty of time off. He'd be the first to tell you. He loves to play hockey, so he's probably happy he didn't have to practice today, and he'd love to go into a game tomorrow. But what a performance by him. I know we've talked about it a few times, but I don't know how many guys can do that. Play defense and miss as much as he did at that level of competition, and play as well as he did. I mean, he got better and better as the tournament went on, which makes sense. Guy's pretty unique.
This may seem like a strange question for this part of the year, but what has Darcy meant to you guys? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but at the end of last season, it seemed like goaltender was a little bit in flux. You didn't really know where you're going, and you brought Darcy in, and it's really kind of stabilized. He's having a great season.
I would agree with that. I would agree. I think he's been probably our backbone, I would say, for the whole season. He's just been very, very consistent. David's come in and played really well in his absence. There was, he's had a couple of the injuries, and then David goes back to back the other night. So David's supplemented him for sure. But I think if there's one thing about Kemp's this year, he's really been our backbone. He's been really solid at times when we weren't, and at times we're playing well. He's been equally as solid. That's really what you want in the goaltender, just to be pretty consistent. Just stop the ones that we think he should stop. Make a couple great saves every once in a while, and we'll be good with that. And that's what he's done.
You haven't had many games with your full complement of your defensive core now, with Drew Doughty back and Mikey Anderson seemingly back.
Mikey will play,
yeah, so you have, the last couple of practices, you've had Gavrikov with Anderson again.
Yeah.
Is that something you expect to see going forward?
It can always change, as you know, with us, but yeah, we do. We do see Mikey and Gavi, at least out of the gate here a little bit, staying together. And then, we have flexibility. Smitty mixes and matches a lot back there. But, as for practice and stuff like that, you'll probably see Mikey and Gavi together. Yeah.
And as far as the 11 and 7, is that something in consideration for tomorrow's game as well?
Yeah, for sure. It'll always be a consideration with us. And, there's always different reasons. You guys don't always know the reasons why. There's different things going on. Sometimes there's injuries. We want to get somebody else some more ice time up front necessarily. So, but it will always be a conversation with us. Yeah.
With the deadline coming up, the trade deadline coming up, what should we look for? You guys expect to be busy, or are there things that you as a coach want and need to add for the stretch run, or?
Blakey and I talk about it, but we really, that's a question for upstairs, I would say. Those guys have been working on that for a long time, talking, meeting, watching video, evaluating players. I know that process has been probably a couple months long, pretty intensive. We'll just go with what we got, and, if we get to add somebody that helps us, we'll take that too.
Coach, when you look at tomorrow's game, what will you look for early, or what will you preach early after such a long break?
I just want to see us skating, you know, and giving us a chance, I would say, Evie, to forecheck. I don't know if you noticed today, we had an emphasis, at least coming back into our zone, of getting back and stopping. It's the hardest thing to get your team to do, never mind after being off for 2 weeks, is getting back, stopping in D zone, staying together, 5 guys. I think that's the strength of our team when we're playing. So it'll be getting back to that defensively, but mostly offensively, getting our feet going, giving ourselves a chance to forecheck. Just skating. You'll see it. We'll see it. We know the nights that we're skating, and usually we'll manage, you know, whatever mistakes or tactically off of that. We just got to skate.